It's recording.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Shamika Moore. I'm the founder and career coach of More Empathic Career. I'm super excited to have you guys here tonight with us. We have brown girl from Boston, Andrea Amathivan, joining us. I know I said your name incorrect, right? Your last name.
You did great.
I know, right? It's always one of those tough ones. You're like, am I going to get that name right? She's going to be joining us tonight to talk about passive income and how we can use our skill sets to just bring in more money into our lives, and also using our skills to jump outside the box and not always feel that we need to be in that same career path, but we can use those skills to develop a whole new career if we choose to. So I'm going to turn it over to her.
Hi everyone, this is Andrea Amathivan. You was correct, Shamika. You was on point. I'm the founder of Brown Girl from Boston. So pretty much we're gonna flow with creating your passive income, how to have different side hustles. Because I always say that I'm the side hustler and the black alchemist, because you have to turn ideas from nothing into something profitable. And in this era, we're in the entrepreneurship era. So we pretty much need side hustles to survive, especially women of color. And being, a Black woman, our pay at work, if you work a 9 to 5, is pretty much not equal to anyone, whether it's a white woman, whether it's a white guy. So we need to figure out how to generate more income without killing ourselves, right? Because that's the key thing. We kill ourselves for someone else, 9 to 5 or a second shift or a third shift. You may have a family, you may have other responsibilities, but how can you generate income without killing yourself, with using your passion, using your skills? Because a lot of times we're in fields in which maybe our parents pushed us in, right? They're like, go to school, be a lawyer, be a doctor, be a this, and that's not your passion. That's not your purpose. So how can you use your skills to pay the bills? That's why I like to say, how do you use your skills to pay the bills, honey? Because we need those coins. And not only we need the coins, we need to manage our coins too, because a lot of times we can generate so much money, but we are like buying stuff that we don't need, like red bottoms. Do you need those red bottoms? No, I'm pretty sure you don't need them. Because if you don't have, let's say, $500 in the bank, you don't need to be rocking $500 shoes. That's my philosophy, because I'm a clearance rack girl. And I pretty much use my coins wisely. So, Shamika, do you want to ask questions? Do you want me to flow into it? Like, how do you want to do this?
You could just flow into it. Go for it.
Okay.
If anyone has any questions, please use the chat box, and we can address those questions as you go.
Cool. Awesome. So I'll tell you a quick story about how I got into entrepreneurship. And it's funny because my freshman year roommate just reminded me during homecoming, which like a month or two ago. So I got into entrepreneurship. I like to say I was a ghostwriter. I was writing people's papers in college. So I claim I was a ghostwriter. So it was people in my English class, I was like, hey, you're pretty good at, writing papers. Can you write my paper? So it was usually the football team. And I was like, sure. So I'm just like, let me think of a good number, because you're going to pay me. I'm not going to be out writing my papers and I'm writing your papers for $3.99. Like, no, because I need to get my life in order. So I was like, well, I'll charge you $50 to write a paper. So here I am, 18, 19 years old, my freshman year, going into sophomore year. And I was like, let me just, use the skills to pay some type of bills, or just have extra income while I'm in college, instead of calling my parents like, hey, I ran out of money this week. So on top of that, that's what I thought I was only doing. And then my freshman year roommate reminded me, she's like, remember you was making food in the dorm? Now, mind you, if you're an HBCU student, you cannot have any type of George Foreman grill, anything in the dorm. Literally, I will roll up the towel, put it underneath the door, and I would make like hamburgers or something else. And I would sell them. I had pretty much a drive-through window. So I would sell them, like we stayed on like the bottom floor in the basement, and I would like hand the food out, because like the window folded in, and I would hand the food out. You gotta be creative and innovative while you're in college. So I was like, I'm not gonna sit here and, we're gonna starve. I used to look at my roommate, her name's April, and I was like, listen, we're not gonna starve. We're gonna be out here making these coins, and I'm gonna share it. I don't have any sisters. I have all brothers. I'm like, girl, we can't be broke. We gotta be making these coins if we're gonna go to the party, whatever the case is, get our hair done. I'm gonna share some of my coins with you. Cause she would help to like not snitch on me. She could have snitched on me and be like, listen, this chick is up here thinking she got McDonald's in the room. So shout out to April. Thank you for that. So pretty much my journey went into when I was in graduate school. Mind you, my background's in social work. I worked in the nonprofit field for over 10 years. My last position in the nonprofit field, I was a director of social services. And to back up then, when I was getting my MSW, I remember looking around and I said, I don't want to be a therapist or a caseworker or any type of administrator for the rest of my life. I didn't want to do the 40-40 plan. Like you go to work for someone for 40 years, then you're retiring at 40 or, 40 years later. So you're like in your 70s. I didn't want that for my life. So I remember I had like this epiphany in graduate school. And I think I came back from Jamaica because I was studying abroad. And I said, you know what? I want to be an entrepreneur. And my cohort members looked at me like, well, why are you getting your MSW? I'm like, well, first of all, this is a stepping stone to where I need to go to. And I think a lot of times we don't look at our experiences as this is a stepping stone, or what can I learn to generate income, or, how can I put together like a quick, simple ebook or a product that's going to solve problems. Because I knew how to solve problems being a social worker. I knew how to read people as far as with the buying potential, studying people and seeing what's that emotion, what's that pain point to make them buy something. And that's one of the things you need to understand as an entrepreneur. You need to know how to read people, who's your target market, and why is that target market going to buy from you versus the next person who's selling the same thing. So graduate school really helped me to develop that skill to make assessments, to identify certain needs, to identify even, how to become a public speaker, and just to really talk to people and their needs versus just selling people. Because that's important to know how to really just build a relationships versus just selling, because people don't want to be pushed on like a used car salesman. Like you're going like, oh, you need this. They may not need that at the time. So that's important to have when you're an entrepreneur, and know that you have to be flexible. It takes time. And I think I talked about that today, like being an overnight success. It takes 7 to 10 years or more than that, but you have to be patient. You have to be persistent, and you have to persevere through things. And so going back to my story, my last job, I was a director of social services, and I became very ill. I had a mystery illness that I was dealing with from I turned 29, going into 30, all the way up into this year. And I was so sick. But a lot of times when we have these illnesses, we're manifesting something that's unresolved within us, whether it's an emotional issue, whether it's, you got that no good boyfriend or boo-boo that you need to get rid of. And you just manifest those issues. You manifest their toxic behavior. And, I was sick because I was dealing with so many things in my own personal life that I didn't, take care of, let's say 7 years ago. And so I ended up manifesting the fibroids and also having a thyroid issue. And that really put a lot of things in perspective, because I was putting so much energy and time into someone else's brand and business, and I wasn't happy. Even though I was making good money, like our folks always talking about, you got to make that good money, you got to get a good job, you got this, this education, what you're going to do with it. But we're not taught in our community to how to generate money for ourselves and for our community, and how to generate wealth within, not only in our families, but also to make generational wealth for, our great grandkids. Because other communities, as far as with the Asian community, as far as with the Indian community, they have a 400-year plan in which they have these things. They teach their children, how to generate wealth. They also pass down businesses. Unlike us, we're 400 years behind because of slavery and other things that occur to us as Black people, or, as Indigenous people, or whatever you like to identify yourself with. So I said, why not learn how to become an entrepreneur, just even doing Google? And I went to my local business association, which is Center for Women in Enterprise, when I was living in Providence, Rhode Island. And I took business courses. And I really had to transition my mindset once again, because I had that mindset coming from social services, psychology, social work, but I had to really transition into, okay, what's profitable? What's a pain point? What's a business plan? And really take my side hustle to the next level. And at the time, I had left my job, and, you know, I was like, what am I good at? So I started writing resumes and doing cover letters. And I was like, okay, this is cool, but I need more. And I was on a conference call with Valerie Burton and Rosetta from Happy Black Woman. And they was talking about coaching. I said, okay, coaching, that's similar to social work. Something I would like to do, I could see myself doing. So I ended up also getting my coaching certification. But coaching is such a saturated field. Everyone's a coach. Everybody named Mama, Bebe is a coach from down the street. You're like, how Bebe become a coach? She's she's on Instagram flossing. But a lot of times they're selling this dream. They're selling this persona like, oh, I'm just so amazing. And do you see the results? And I'm not knocking anyone's hustle, but you want to like also not be in a saturated field. And if you are, how are you going to distinguish yourself of, you know, really producing the results? And so that's what my focus on is, really producing results. So, you know, I was like, okay, what am I going to do with this coaching? You know, like I do like coaching. I mainly, you know, deal with women of color. Why? Because I'm a Black woman. I don't have anybody else's experience. I'm a Black woman living in America. And, you know, there's certain issues that we have as far as with inequality of pay, our parents, pretty much wisdom, or just like the things that they didn't know is bestowed upon us. And I was like, how can I also uplift us and, you know, build that self-esteem and also confidence and become a leader, and also help you generate income from a holistic point? Because business, people just look at business as, oh, I'm generating money. It's emotional. It's about your health. It's about your wellness. It's a spiritual thing. Even when you have clients, who are you attracting in your life? That's very key. And if you are not attracting the right people, how are you going to generate the wealth that you need? Because if someone's broken and you're trying to fix the brokenness, but they're like, no, I want to, you know, learn how to become a side hustler. We need to fix this trauma over here. So if you don't have that equipped, you need to send them somewhere else. So that's pretty much generating income and passive income. You can generate income from any type of idea that comes to your mind. I have seen people make money from writing messages on potatoes on Groupon. Potatoes, really? Like, they're sending people like, hey, you're like mashed potato, something crazy, and people are selling these $10 a pop on Groupon. I've seen something that's crazy as that. I've seen something as practical as, okay, if you are a new mom and you don't want to whip out your boob in public, they have shirts now, something similar to what I have on, but it's more towards, you know, the breast line, and you can just zip it down and you can breastfeed your child, you know, privately. So there's so many things that you can turn, into pretty much profit, but you have to also to stick with it and have like a BFF business partner or a friend and be like, hey, what do you think about this? Now, I'm not saying going to everyone, because everyone's not going to see your vision, and there's just going to be people who's just not going to rock with you. There's going to be people who's not going to rock with you, who's not going to buy from you. And, you know, a lot of times we focus on the haters. We focus on our family and our friends not buying from you. That's okay. They're not in your target market. They're not in your tribe. They're in your other tribe. Like, okay, you know I got to go to see them for the holiday season or for family reunions or for class reunions. That's okay. Stop focusing on who's not buying from you and focus on the people who's rocking with you. I don't care if that's one person. That one person is loyal to you, then you need to make them VIP in your customer tribe. Because that's important, because if you're just dismissing them all the time and you're focusing on the negative, why this person not buying from me, how are you going to generate? You just have a hobby then. You're not generating any kind of income. So that's what I really want to stretch. Also, I had pulled up some articles, 2 articles, which are important, from CNN money is more than 44 million Americans have a side hustle. Like, let's really think about that. 44 million Americans have side hustles. Why? Because people live in areas in which they need side hustles. People live, let's say in Boston, where I'm from, in which the rent and the cost of living is out of control. I was just watching a video. Boston is like the third most expensive city in the world. For a 1-bedroom apartment is $2,600. And that's not guaranteed that you're living in a nice neighborhood. Let's get it on point on that. 30% of Bostonians have side hustles because they gotta pay that rent. They gotta pay that rent. They gotta pay the food. They want a quality of life, and they trying to beat that bitter cold. Like, it's cold up there now. They trying to figure out how to make things work, and then on top, they may make 6 figures. They may not. They're trying to figure out how they're gonna make things work and navigate for them, so they won't be on the poverty line. And going to the 44 million Americans. I'm getting my notes out. You have a lot of African American and Latinas that we're in a running of side hustlers. Why? Because a lot of us are either single moms, we don't have a spouse. So we have to also figure out how we're going to make that income work for us and to live. And a lot of our income from the side hustles go towards housing. It goes towards transportation. It goes towards food. Just the basic necessities that we need. It goes towards that. But also, too, even though we have, it's a high number of us that has the side hustles, how can we consistently generate the income and get the capital? Because we have that on one. Oh, go ahead.
You mentioned like you realized what your skills were. If someone doesn't know what their talent or skills is, what would you suggest ways for them to figure out, okay, these are my side hustles. This is how I could be successful?
Okay, that's a good question. So I would definitely look at what type of jobs you have been doing and what have you been excelling in. That's one thing. What kind of careers have you been doing? So let's say if you're an administrative assistant and you've been doing that job for 10 years and you have one. I'm not even saying let's say you did win like Employee of the Year a few times, or you get high recommendations on your job. Okay, a administrative assistant or office manager, you're pretty much running that office. Correct. You're the face of the business. So if you have those skills, you can be a virtual assistant. You can do a lot of things with those skills. So it's all about tapping within. Ask people in your office, ask your family members, ask the ones that's truthful, not like, oh girl, you can do whatever, because then your head's gonna get blown up and think you can do whatever literally, and you're not gonna generate any income and your feelings gonna be hurt. So really tap into the skills that you have now and say, okay, let me write down 5 of these skills that I have, and let me ask truthful people who's going to be authentic and that's going to be really honest with me and say, hey, what skills do you think I have? Because a lot of times we think we have these skills, but the outside people see other things. So it's always good to not have a closed mind on yourself, but also, ask your family and your friends, and they will definitely be like, hey, but I see this in you, and maybe you're a part of a community that you serve, and they're like, oh, but you're great in areas of doing this, and you're great in areas in doing that. If that doesn't work, find a coach, a career coach, find someone who's going to draw that out of you. That's important too, because a lot of times we need someone that is neutral, because a lot of times it's going back to, you're doing that assessment, you're identifying your skills and your needs of where your skills are needed. So a lot of times it's good to hire a coach. And, sometimes you may have to go deeper than that and hire a therapist, because sometimes we're like so beat up. We beat ourselves up. I do it. We self-sabotage ourselves. We like, I don't have the skills to pay the bills, but you have so many dope skills, but we get confused and we get so broken and we get so disgusted because we feel like I don't have any skills, but that's not true. Everyone on this planet has skills. If God created you for a reason, it's for you to figure out what your passion and what your purpose is, not what your mother and what your father thinks you should do, but what you should do as an individual.
Agree. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That was it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So what else? I know we got some folks in here. Y'all can ask questions, put them in the chat box.
So how do you manage, because I know you have multiple side hustles. I can't even name them all because you have so many. How do you manage those different side hustles to make sure that it's bringing in the income that you need?
I definitely say time management, being organized, and being truthful to myself and learning how to say no. And if I have to outsource things, I outsource them. As far as with one of my businesses, I make beard oils for men. Yes, I make beard oils for men. I love doing that. And if I can, let's say, go to the post office and deliver, packages, I have, you know, my mom can do that or my husband can do that. So I make sure I utilize my tribe of family, because since I live upstairs from my parents, they don't have much to do sometimes. And I'm like, hey, I need y'all to do X, Y, and Z. If I go do speaking engagements, I make sure I bring either my husband or my mom or someone who's available to come and help assist with me as well. And a lot of times we don't utilize our family. We don't utilize if we have kids. And you can put them, on your payroll if you have an LLC and help generate income to them too. So they can say like, oh, well, I'm getting, salary as well. So you're not just using them, because it's not good to just use people and not pay them for their services.
Natasha had a question.
Hey, Natasha.
Oops, I lost it. There you go. Do you know of any questionnaires that assist people in choosing their field or for side hustles or new career?
That's a good one. I know when I had this questionnaire as far as with when I did coaching, and it gave us 40 different qualities and skills ranked by what was our ranked as far as with what did we chose, like a Myers-Briggs personality. And I can't even think off the top of my head. It was through Valerie Bright. And if I think about it, I can also too give you guys some links or whatever the case is later on. But you can Google questionnaires for new career path. Then they also have, what's that one that career coaches use? What color is my parachute? Oh, yeah. They have that one. They have so many different questionnaires for free that you can use. I also use, I know another one I use, Strength Finders, and my book is over there, so I'm not going to get it. It's over there in my bookcase. Strength Finders is so good. It's called Strength Finders 2.0. I use that. I used it. It's so funny. I used it in 2010, and I recently took another questionnaire over just to see, okay, where am I hitting, where I'm supposed to be at? And it was kind of like a drastic change, because of course you're going to evolve. I took it when I was in my 20s, and now, I'm about to be 35. So you're going to see that, you evolve, and you're like, oh, wow, I'm going to use these skills as well. And to pretty much figure out where am I missing? What target am I missing? And that really has been helpful. But Strength Finders is really good. And I think they have a leadership one too. I haven't took that one yet or read the book, but I heard that's really good as well too.
Yep, and they have an entrepreneurship one too.
Oh, nice. I'm gonna have to try that one too. I haven't taken
it yet, but I want to take it, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
You guys have any other questions?
Any other questions? What was that? I think I could type in here too, right? Oh, yeah, look at me. Strengths.
Don't mind us.
Finder 2.0. I have to find the other one.
Oh, she's talking about the entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know y'all have some more questions. Don't be shy. Okay, cool. Okay, so we talked about side hustle. So I think I have about 8.
You probably have more than 8.
I have about 8. So I do coaching. I also make beard oils. Oh, you have another question? I'll pause, because trust me, I have them in my mind. Go ahead. You have another question, Natasha? Yes. So my businesses are all under one LLC. I just recently relocated to Alabama, and it's really cheap to get your LLC here. So everything is all under Andrea Maffedon. And so pretty much like I have that, and I have like my business account, everything's under that. So I funnel my my money and my tax forms through there. But a cool thing is about the LLC, and I think a lot of people don't know, is we need to also transition to SCorp, and I will put it in the chat. SCorp pretty much helps with the tax break. See, us folks of color, we don't know these things. You got to be rubbing elbows with the folks who have these, with the lawyers and stuff like that. SCorp pretty much give you a huge tax break. So let's say if you have a 9-to-5 and you have your side hustle, or let's say your business, you can pretty much pay your personal income tax into your SCorp. And it gives you so many different breaks when it comes to tax time. You don't really have to pay, I know in Alabama, you have to pay like quarterly as far as with your taxes. You only pay once a year when you have your SCorp. Now, if you have any friends who are intellectual property lawyers, talk to them, because your girl is, that's the basic information I know. And I had got that information from intellectual property lawyer, which is good to have, because that's what I wanted to talk to really quick. Consult with an intellectual property lawyer, because they will cover you, especially if you're doing any type of partnership. And I want to talk about that because it's important, who you get into a partnership with, because that's like a marriage, because you have to be equally committed as that person coming in there, and you need to have it in writing. I'll tell y'all a quick story that was very sad. I co-authored a book with an ex-sister friend, and we thought we had it in writing. We didn't have it in writing. Shame on us, because we was like green. It was like, oh my God, Miss Sade, I want to do this book. We was doing the book, and when money start generating, you will see a change in people. When them coins start rolling in, folks will flip on you. So we didn't have anything in writing. We thought we did, and we was just so excited. And so what happened, my ex-sister friend pretty much was selling the book behind my back and generating the income and not splitting the profits with myself. And I found this out because someone was like, hey, they said an email and said, hey, I didn't get my book. And I'm like, I didn't even know you ordered the book. Yeah, such and such was selling the book. And she said she was going to send me the book. And so here I am looking foolish, and, things got out of control. And I said, you know what? I can no longer partner with you. And I actually went to a lawyer after the fact, and he said, well, actually, you can't even do anything about it because you guys didn't have anything in writing. So that not also, broke the trust within our partnership, but we're no longer sister friends over money. And it wasn't like big money, but to me, it's the principle of it. Because I deal with integrity, being trustworthy. And, like, I'm one of those people, like, I'm loyal. And if I like rock with you, like, I rock with you to the end. But when you start doing foolishness like that, and you're going behind over a little chump change, that's very sad, because it's like, I believe in sisterhood. I believe in Black women. I support Black women. And once you start like thinking, okay, I'm going to eat off another Black woman and not share, and we both put our blood, sweat, and tears to this book, I have a big problem with that. There's no malice, because you have to also forgive, and I have to really dig deep to forgive, but it's just the principle of it. So every time, I tell people they get into partnerships, I really do. It's like going on a date, go on a series of dates. And also to who's going to do, are you going to do 50%? I'm going to do 50%, or is it going to be 60-40? Have those boundaries and those clear expectations coming off the bat, because you need to have it in writing. Yes, you need to go to a lawyer. If they get an attitude, then you don't need to work with them. You don't need to work with them if they get an attitude like, hey, let's bring in a lawyer. And they're pretty inexpensive when you go to intellectual property, or you can do your own paperwork. It's all about covering yourself, your brand, and your business. And also it's going back to being accountable and responsible for the sisterhood, right? Because we need one another. We need to, going back to what I said before, to build, generational wealth. And if you're over here building the wealth, and you're building, positive energy, and someone's just taking, you can't. You just have to fire them. So that's important. Please get things in writing. That's very important. And please know who you're going into business with. And sometimes going to business with your folks is not the good thing, because they're like, oh, I know, she got it. She's a hard worker. I'm a fall back. No, you need to hold them accountable. If they cannot put in the work, then that's not a good partnership for you. And you know yourself. So you know yourself. And you don't have to put it on Facebook. So that's another thing I want to express too. Be mature about it. Be a woman. Be gracious enough and say, okay, I'm going to take this loss. And don't put it on social media. You don't have to air out your dirty laundry. And I've seen people do that. And that's not like, that level is just so chaotic. And you're only bringing in negative energy, and that energy that you don't need for your next project. So I just really want everyone to understand is like, please be careful who you partner with. Have those honest conversations in black and white, and make sure that it is either notarized, you go see a lawyer, something, and have a separate business account. And if you want to establish an LLC, make sure that's in writing, who's responsible for doing that, who's responsible for holding the money, all that good stuff.
Can you talk a little bit about branding? Because I know you do a lot of social media, and branding yourself versus your business. And is that does that mesh together sometimes? Like, how do you handle that situation? Because you are a brown girl from Boston, so that's your brand, and people see you as that. So you're talking about not posting certain things on social media. How do you make sure you handle that situation?
Good question. So I love doing the branding part. It's very interesting because it's so much emotion going to branding. Mm-hmm. And like, for instance, last night I was in Atlanta and I went to go see one of my favorite MCs, and her branding is dope because what you see on the stage is who you're going to get. Like, she met everybody in the building. She's like, I'm doing a meet and greet, and she met literally everyone. That's so awesome. Branding to me is like, okay, yes, I'm Andrea, brown girl from Boston. Sometimes, you can separate the two, and sometimes you are that person. And so for me, if you meet me, you're like, okay, she probably gonna, look all like this, sometimes I'm not gonna have my lipstick on, but hey, I'm gonna be, how I am. Branding is all about the emotion. People come to your page. Oh, how do I feel about this person? What kind of vibes I'm getting from this person? Are you cussing folks out? I don't need you to cuss folks out. If that's part of your brand, you better expect people to come for you. If you out here, negativity, once again, toxic energy, and if people come for you in the comment section, you better be prepared for that, because that's what you're putting out there. Now, as far as we're posting on social media, if you get upset, once again, it's all about being gracious. Yes, you can make a general comment, but when it comes to, let's say, a customer that, paid their money and you made a mistake, do you refund their money, or do you just go and just do this rant? It's best to have that conversation offline, private. I shouldn't have to go on your business page and you're talking reckless, and that's not part of who you are. Now, you can go on your personal page, you can say whatever you want to say on there, but when it comes to your business and your branding, it needs to be clear intentions for that. Mm-hmm. What are you communicating in the world? You don't have to be dolled up every day. If that's your style, that's your style. But make sure you're being authentic in it. If I meet you and that's what, if your brand is like, okay, hold on, and you're totally different in person, I'm going to be like, you're confusing your audience. Who are you talking to? What type of language you're using? Pretty much, what type of content you're putting out there, your colors. See, a lot of people don't think about this, your colors, because certain colors, you have the psychology of colors. What colors are you, putting out there? Purple means royalty, purple means this. And just because women, we're women, and, that doesn't mean we like pink, because a lot of times with the psychology of color, because I study that too, you shouldn't use pink, because a lot of women don't like pink. They like turquoise, they like blue, they like purple, other colors like that. If you're saying you're this earthy, Erykah Badu type of, eco-friendly, whole foods eating, I need to see green. That's what you're representing. You're part of the earth. I need to see some greens. I need to see some browns. So color has a lot to do with it. Even your name. When I came up with Brown Girl from Boston, I was like, oh my God, am I going to be Black Girl from Boston, Brown Girl from Boston? I was like, well, Brown Girl from Boston has a good flow, because yes, I'm a Black woman, but it's funny, when I was in college, people were like, oh, that's the brown girl from Boston. And I'm like, oh, that rings. So I'm gonna stick with that. Find something that's going to flow. Find something that's not going to be too outrageous to the point in which you do get a trademark and get rejected a few times because it's just so outrageous. A lot of times when you use your own name, that gets rejected a lot because a lot of times you pretty much kind of don't have ownership of your name, but you kind of don't, but there's loopholes around that. And it's a lot of different laws around that when it's trademarking your name. So definitely talk to an intellectual property lawyer about that. But branding is important. Make sure that you are standing on your word. And if you're, have a mission, have a vision for your business and for your brand, and stick with that. Yeah, your brand is going to evolve because you're going to evolve, hopefully, as well. So if you're like, oh, I want to change the colors or, have a different vision because I see the vision going, let's say at a macro level versus a micro level, it's okay to do that within, I would say, 5 to 10 years. Now, if you like, oh, I don't like this and I'm changing my brand tomorrow, don't well, you shouldn't probably launch because that's prematurely, and then you're confusing your audience that you already have. So I would say, progress with your brand, but have certain points at the 3-year mark. Okay, how am I doing my brand? Am I having that right energy? Because if not, a lot of times too, we don't have the right target market. Then we get confused. Maybe that target market, you outgrown them. And it's okay to find a different target market. And I think a lot of times we're not taught that because we're like, oh, no one's not buying my products or my services because sometimes, the target market, you outgrew them, and it's okay to go in front of someone else.
What encouraging words could you give someone? Because we know now a lot of people are trying to find ways to build passive income. And there's different ways to do that. Some people think they're going to get 6 figures in 6 months, and I know you've been in your business for a while. So could you talk about how you stayed motivated when that income wasn't coming in and you were just building your brand versus, okay, now I have a steady income? Because a lot of people give up after a while because they don't realize the time commitment and how long it's really going to take. Like you said earlier, it can take you 10 years to really build your business versus 10 months. And sometimes we jump ahead thinking, oh, this is just a hustle, I'm going to make quick money, but it's really not. It's so much more.
Right. It's definitely so much more, and it's going to take time to see a profit. And for me, because I haven't really had a traditional 9-to-5 in 3 years, I just found other ways to market my skills. Far as with, I do social media management, I do brand ambassador work. So brand ambassador work is pretty much representing other brands and just either setting up different pop-up shops for them. I do stuff like that. I do things that's going to generate that income consistently, and also to still build on my businesses. And I have my beard oil and I have my coaching. You have to stay with it. And there's so many people, this really is very discouraging for people who come on social media and oh, this person stopped making 6 figures. No, you don't know how they got that money. So stop comparing yourself and oh, well, my business is in year 2 and their business, let's say, is 6 months and it got quote unquote 6 figures. That may not be an actual cash asset. They may have a low cash flow. They may have so many different ways that they generated that money. So stop comparing yourself. And they may have just some things that you are not willing to do. Let's have that conversation. Let me repeat it for the people in the back. They may have just some things that you are not willing to do. And I wouldn't advise you doing that. So, it's finding your groove. Business is going to make money. You're going to have low cash flow, but I don't advise someone to be like, you know what, I'm going to quit my 9-to-5 tomorrow. Especially if you have a family and let's say you're the breadwinner. If you got to go down in hours and you do that, if you have to get a part-time job and then work on your side business, but make sure your side business is also generating some type of consistent flow of money. But don't expect you to make 6 figures within, 6 months. If you do, salute to you. Please share the blueprint with us because I would like to know that. But it takes time to really build a genuine brand. Look at Oprah's network, right? She just sold of her network back to discovery, because she probably has some low cash flow because we think, oh, this person's a billionaire, yay. But they don't how much accessibility they have to their cash. And who knows what behind the deal, scene they had going on. And that's none of our business. But, people look at like Oprah, like, oh, she's a billionaire, or Beyonce or Jay-Z. And it's funny, I was watching, I watch YouTube and I watch a whole bunch of like Dr. Boyce and Yvette Carnell. If they're like billionaires, they're always trying to work to maintain that money. Like when you get more money, more problems, like Biggie said, you're always generating, oh my God, I gotta make this money. I gotta manage the money. So don't try to grow too big so quick. And I think a lot of our problem is we want to go from step A to step Z. Like you need to go through the struggle. You need to know how it feels to generate money. You need to know how to lose money. You need to know what failure feels like and what it looks like. You need to also, just be careful of when you get all these clients. Are they quality clients? Are they quality customers? Are you chasing and nickel and dime after nickel and dime? It's not worth your time if you're chasing people. They don't want to put the work in. They're like, yeah, girl, I'm going to pay the invoice. They never pay the invoice. So you have to really going back to figuring out who's your target market, because you chasing after your money, that's a waste of your energy that you could be putting into your business or putting into like getting a proper rest or nutrients in your body. So don't nickel and dime yourself or chase after the money. The money's going to come, and don't be afraid to say, hey, these are my prices. That's it. And I think a lot of times as women, we get so like, well, I don't know. Should I charge this? Yes, charge it. Because you know what your worth is, what the labor that comes with that, the time and the energy it takes to, let's say, bake a cake, and you're baking this like 3-tier wedding cake, and someone's like, oh girl, can you give it to me for $100? No, ma'am, I will not. You can go to the next person for that. So, don't grow to, enjoy the entrepreneurship journey. Yes, you're going to have some ugly cry moments. I have ugly cry moments, I have moments I'm like, I'm going to quit today. And I like slam I'm like, I'm quitting today. And you know what? The breakthrough happens tomorrow. That means that I'm getting anxious. And that means I have to check myself and check the process. And sometimes I may have to call my mentor. Sometimes I may have to call my sister friend, like, girl, but call your sister friend who understands entrepreneurship. Don't call your friend, because I have friends in academia and they're like, I don't know why you want to do that. You have your master's in this. They don't understand. Call your sister friend or that tribe of people who understand the entrepreneurship journey, because they're either going through it or they're not going through it. And we don't have conversations like that because we're looking at controlled content on social media and comparing our real lives to it and saying, well, I should be here. But people are always going to snapshot the good thing. And I don't think anybody should discuss how much they're making on social media. That's between you, God, and the IRS and your spouse. If you have one, you shouldn't be saying, oh, girl, look up. No, because that's how you're setting yourself up to get robbed. You're setting yourself up to block your blessings. And no one doesn't like a braggadocious person. I'm sorry. I don't, unless that's, that you about that life, cool. Andrea doesn't like someone being braggadocious. So, it's cool to share your blessings, but also to share your struggles, to another aspiring entrepreneur, because you're only setting yourself up and setting the next person up, because people are looking. You don't know who's watching you. Mm-hmm. And when you're like, oh, I'm doing all these dope things, and you're really not, you're only setting yourself up for failure. And then someone's always comparing. They wish they had your life, and they don't know what it feels like to walk in your shoes. So, be humble, but also, I always say be humble, but also to know that you fly, know that you are great and you're dope and you're going to make the money, but don't chase the money. Chase your purpose. That's the key thing. Chase the purpose. If your purpose is to be a writer, if your purpose is to be a rapper, if your purpose is to be a baker, chase that. Because when you chase it and you're persistent and you're honest and you're authentic and you're walking in it, people are going to come out the cut and help you. But when you're chasing money, you're going to lose money. You're going to gain money. Money come and go, and you shouldn't worship money. And this message is for me, because I'm like, oh, I'm feeling the message. Okay, I'm like, I'm feeling this, because I'm like, you hear this, Drea? Like, you need to take this message too. But make sure that you're chasing purpose. And if you need help, don't feel like you have to suffer alone in the entrepreneurship journey, because you have so much resources, and someone who, you know, need the help, or if you're like, hey, I know this person is like a great strategist in branding, you know, check them out and see how you can, you know, work with them. And also outsource. You don't have to know all the answers. That's the key thing that I had, you know, to learn. I don't have to know all the answers in my business. And if I have a little bit of coins, then why not outsource the work to someone, an assistant, or get an intern, high school kid, you know, you can pay them a little bit of money. And, you know, if they're willing, or pay your kids some money if they, if you have children, a spouse or whoever that's willing to help you out. You don't have to do it all to yourself, because that's how you get burnt out and that's how you manifest, you know, illnesses. So make sure that's your outsourcing and delegating tasks, because you have to relinquish control. Because if you're sick and you're a one-woman business, then your business is going to be on hold. So figure out ways how to outsource your business.
Sounds good. Any other questions before we wrap up? Everyone's quiet.
Y'all are quiet. What? I know y'all got some questions. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think, let me see. I think that was, yeah, I don't know. Well, so I was going to like my hustles, right?
Yeah.
So going to that. So like I do, all right. I know my hustle. I also, I authored 3 books. So like when I get like little coins from now, I'm like, yay, I got little coins. Like someone want to buy my book. Like I said, brand ambassador, coaching, all that stuff. I just always trying to find ways to use my hands and my creativity. And blogging, like blogging was pretty much the planet of the seed for me to be an entrepreneur. And I have to thank my mom for that. My mom was always like, you need to do something with your writing. Like you have so much to say. So blogging pretty much started Brown Girl from Boston branding. And I didn't know where. I just remember writing the blog post to leave my job. And I said, okay, like take the wheel, somebody. And I know Natasha asked.
Yep.
So my website is www.browngirlfromboston.com. And I'm going to type it in here so you can go check it out. And I have blog posts. I also have like vlogs. I have different things that you can go check out on there. And like I said, blogging just pretty much started it started my coaching business. It started my public speaking engagements. People find you. People seek you out. So I have to think Brown Girl from Boston is still my baby. So a lot of times I'm like, oh, I'm quitting Brown, like legit. I'm quitting Brown Girl from Boston, and something just say no. It's my baby, and my husband always said, you always gonna be Brown Girl from Boston, but it's like now I'm like Brown Girl in Alabama, and I have to blog about that journey. So it's the journey of entrepreneur is cool. It's tough at times. Brown Girl from Boston really just sparked so many different experiences for me, and I'm always thankful for that. And like just even making beard oils, how that came about. Someone, when I was living in Providence, they called me. They was part of like the Black Student Union. It was like, hey, we heard you make natural hair oils. I was like, you sure? I was like, I make it for myself and for like family and friends, and because I used to do natural hair workshops. And I said, let me whip up some beard oil. So that's how I got into making beard oil. It's just the creativity of what's a need. And, so many men are growing facial hair. And I said, oh, I can do this. And I think I'm the only woman making beard oils. And when guys find that out, they think that's cool. I'm like, I know what y'all like. Y'all like, I have a husband. I know what kind of scent y'all like. So, it's all about finding that niche, finding the market. And it's different working with men, because I have worked with men on the coaching side. Is very different. And you have to, a lot of women are intimidated by that because they're like, oh, what if homeboy hit on me? Nah, you just like, listen, dude, like this is about the business. You don't need to be trying to hit on me. So I would also say open your target market for men if your products or your services is going towards, it can be unisex. It's an interesting journey working with guys.
It really is, because I have a couple of clients who are men. I love it, actually. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are so easy compared to women a little bit, but it's a different target market.
Definitely.
It has to be different.
Definitely. Yeah. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know. I'm going to also type another resource too, that I came across. It's called from a Black woman. They have a free database that you can list your business on there anywhere in the United States. Now, I don't know if they probably have it international too. You can list your business for free, your website, what your business is, and they pretty much take a look at it and they put you on a database, which is pretty cool. I have a button that I bought from them. I support Black women because like, the reason why they started their business because they noticed it was a huge, it was pretty much like a 500% increase of Black women starting their businesses. So definitely check out Buy from a Black woman, push your business on there, or even your side hustle, and make sure you have a legit website. That's what I wanted to talk about really quick. Make sure you have a legit website, email address. Like I shouldn't, be sending an email to like look me through the phone or something like that, honey. Like we need to have legit email address. It could be at gmail.com. Make sure you have your contact information visible on every social media site, and make sure like your branding is across the board. I forgot to mention that. So if I see like your, let's say, headshot on Facebook, I should see the same thing on Twitter, Instagram. Just make yourself visible. You want to always be in people's face because we live in an ADHD microwavable society in which people, we're so busy, we so plugged in. So you have to always be in front of people. And not saying you always have to be in front of people. Let me take that back. Take time to rest too. And if you can automate things, use Hootsuite, use CoSchedule. There's so many things you can automate. You don't always have to pump out newsletters every week. If you do something once a month, just saying, hey, what's up? Just checking in. I call people who join Brown Girl from Boston page. You're part of the Brown Girl tribe. And, I do videos like Fly Friday. I do Money Making Monday. I also do like mental health Mondays because like I said, entrepreneurship is holistic. Just don't look at it from a one-dimensional entity. All right. Where's the questions how are we doing on time? Oh, we got like a few minutes.
Yeah, it's almost 8:30. I did have one question. I totally forgot. I was listening to you. I'm like, I have to ask her that, but I totally forgot the question.
Yeah. Oh, I did have one more thing to say too. It's encouraging. I don't come from a family of entrepreneurs. Like I'm the only entrepreneur, and I'm the first graduate of college and also to graduate school. So I always like the stakes are always high for like my cousins and other families. So they probably give me major side. Like I can't stand her, but it's okay. So you don't have to come from my family who have entrepreneur. If you do, that's dope. Like I think that's really dope. So I'm just setting the standard for myself and my family. And sometimes when you talk business lingo, your family don't understand. So be patient with them because, especially if you come from, the hardworking laborers, the 9-to-5ers, like speak on their lingo and help them to understand what business is and what side hustling is. Don't talk above their head. So that's important too, that I have to share. So it's not like I just, my family's like, oh, they're business owners. Like I have to learn this all on my own. I know someone else had a question.
Yeah, Natasha.
Any nonprofit advice?
Too much.
Nonprofit advice. Oh Lord, yeah. I spent 10 years, like I said, a nonprofit. And if you want to start one, I don't know where you're located, Natasha. I think you should start one. But what is going to be your focus? Oh, you're in Boston. Hey, shout out to Boston. In Boston. So, what is your focus? It's so nonprofit, you get funding, and being in Boston, you're a bigger market than Providence and other areas, and the funding will be there. But what's going to make you stand out? That's the key thing too, when you do write the grants and when you do decide to, have a foundation, start something off now with, doing for good. So pretty much if you're like doing tutoring, if you're doing mentoring, how you going to offset the nonprofit from that? Okay. More so about
outreach to nonprofits as a LLC.
Now that one, I'm not sure. More so the outreach with LLC nonprofit. That would, if you can go to a CWE or someone local business administration, they got the answers because Drea don't have the answer for you. But hey, I know my lane. Yeah, but going back to nonprofits, I think more of us, we should have more nonprofits. Women of color, people of color, because pretty much, especially in New England, it's very slim to none. And yeah, it's tough to start a nonprofit, but it's worth it because especially if you're going to do it around, let's say, marginalized communities, in which we need more nonprofits doing life skills, doing, even with hygienes and even, it's a need there. And I've been thinking about nonprofit, but like I said, I'm in Alabama. They need it here too. But that's something that, you sparked that question. I'm really going to think about it later. So, yeah.
All right. Any last words you want to give us? Any advice before we wrap it up?
Pretty much, you guys, thank you for all taking the time out to check out the video. I always say much love and light to everyone because it's what. Oh, hold on. Oh, yes, honey. I'm about to brag on y'all. So I graduated from John D. O'Brien School of Mathematics and Science. Shamika did as well. So I graduated from O'Brien. Yeah, I have the Okay. So from coming from that, like I'm very. So that's gonna be my last words. Coming from that, very humbling experience because, you're like the techie, the nerd kid. And, not only was I like, everyone was a nerd in school, but I also played sports. I was a captain on my basketball team. And the funny thing is, like that also helped me to become a leader and to know like I have to have a vision and discipline. And that's key with entrepreneurship. You have to be very disciplined and focused, but also not take yourself seriously. You have to know how to laugh and to release a lot of that tension as well, because it takes time, especially, and I have to say, coming from Boston, that really helped me to be like, listen, I got to be on the grind even more because it's a blue collar town. And, like they have it. I hope you guys are keeping up with the series in the Boston Globe. That should definitely inspire you to even more have not just side hustles, but nonprofits, be on the forefront of, just doing amazing things. So I definitely want to see more of my Bostonians doing more. Okay. And shout out to Boston English too.
We have someone on the phone, but I don't know how we can hear her or him.
It's me. It's Marquita.
Hey, girl. Hey, Marquita.
I came in late. I'm sorry. I was just listening in.
Listen, I know you. It's okay. As long as you showed up. Yes, it's the cake lady.
Yes. The cake lady's here tired. I just got in from a pop-up. And I was like, oh my God, I missed half of it. And it took me a few minutes to figure out how to unmute the phone, so that was an issue. I just want to show my love to Andrea, She was my coach, and I loved her.
I'm going to cry. Okay. Ooh, I'm not going to cry, bro. But no, Marquita, oh God, she probably got, I know Marquita probably got tired of me because I'm like, you gotta do that. And she was like, oh. Listen, I'm so proud of you. I have to say, I'm proud of Marquita because from when we have started coaching to now, if you guys better support her, and I'm going to come to Boston and kick y'all behind if y'all don't. Like, the progress that she made. And that just, like, makes me happy because not just me being a coach, because I also just, like, make sure I big people up and I also support. And, I also have my people support because that's important, not just like, oh, yeah, well, she invested in me. I make sure that I'm investing into my people and my tribe of women because it's important to support one another. And Marquita is just so dope. And we're like sisters. Like, she's like my big sister. And just seeing her brand and just her, not just your brand, but you as a person really like blossom just makes me so proud. And I can't say like I'm a proud mama, like I'm a proud little sister. So
And I have to say, just for everyone on the phone, when I came, I was knowing what I wanted to do, but just couldn't figure out how to get there. And I will say that the time that I spent with Andrea was just awesome. And she came recommended to me from my daughter, who I kept complaining, I want to start a business. And she basically was like, Mommy, I can't do this. I got somebody for you. You need to go talk to someone. And it was just awesome. And so I'm still trying to put some of the tools, into action. But it's been an interesting journey, and I know, and a lot of what she gave me, I know it's helped in the growth of what I'm doing now, and I still have a long way to go, but I'm nowhere near where I started.
Yeah.
So I appreciate her.
Oh, I appreciate you. Love you. And see, that's what makes me happy. Like I said, if I don't get any other clients ever, that what makes me happy.
Because, are you really crying?
Outside, yeah, I am.
Marquita,
I really am.
Tears over
because
here.
That's what's important to me is to see the results. It's not about getting the money. It's I know that I'm in my purpose, and sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna quit, but I know I can't, because just seeing success stories, or just, I don't care if your business, I want your business to grow, but I just want you as a person to just grow, and I'm part of that journey. And I'm not gonna be like, oh, peace. Like, I'm gonna be like, oh, what you doing? I'm going to email you. I'm going to make sure I keep with you after the fact, because I have the freedom to do that. Being a social worker, I didn't have the freedom to do that. So if I'm on my own turn, I want to make sure that you're growing. Even though I may not talk to you on the phone every day, every week, every month, but at least I have social media. At least I can email, I can send a text and be like, hey, even Marquita had a birthday. My girl, happy birthday. Like, hey, because that's what's important. It's all about the sisterhood. To me, it's about the sisterhood. And we've been through too much. Being too much for other people, so we have to be that to ourselves into the tribe of women, and that's key. And I mean, even with Marquita's daughter, same thing. Like, I'm like, oh, it's her birthday. Like, girl, it's your birthday. And I seen even growth, with the people. But you can also too, you're not just being a client, but you're turning into my tribe. Like, you're my sister friend, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna support you. And if I'm from Boston, that made me look dumb if I'm not sharing her stuff. It's all about, being loyal. It's all about, okay, let me help this person. If I have the resources, how can I help them get put on? Or let me, like, connect them to the right person. That's the key thing. And that's what I wanted to say too. If you have resources and information, that's meant to be shared. It's not meant to be hoarded. It's not meant to be like in this secret pile, like, oh my God, I can't share my resources. It's supposed to be shared because someone helped you out. That's the key thing. Because I hate when people say, I'm self-made. No, somebody helps you along the journey. And your duty is to help the next person. That's how you're going to break the cycle of the evilness and the toxicity that we have in this world. Your duty is to be the change agent. I don't care if it's like, oh, girl, go get this website for $9.99. Here, just share some type of positive message or resource. So that's my I can't even talk tonight. That was the end of my inspiration for today. And yes,
I will just second. I will just second that, because I did a pop-up this week for 2 days, and it actually had no clients. But the one thing that I took away from it was really positive for me, because I met some women who shared other resources and other places to go where I could actually grow my business. And, sometimes it's hard putting yourself up there, but when you do, you'll be amazed at what people are willing to give and share.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true. But yeah, yes, y'all, I have to have a moment. And then I'm about to turn 35, so I'm getting more sensitive too.
You're going to make me cry, by the way. I'm like, I can't look at her.
Yeah, listen, like, it's just like, because, you have to just also give your flowers to when people are alive, and I'm just sick of people like, oh, someone passed away. Then it's like, all of a sudden you want to like give them a shout out. Like, no, give people their flowers and their props now versus like, oh, I woulda, coulda, shoulda. And it's okay to show emotion. I think so many times in business, we're like, we're supposed to be so, it's okay to show emotion. It's okay to be like, you know what, I'm crying tears of joy. Or sometimes, hey, I'm having a meltdown, because that's just showing that I'm vulnerable and that if I'm okay and I can ask for help. And if you're not okay, say you're not okay and be like, listen, I need help. So that's the key thing. that I want everyone to take away, you know, besides all the rest of the gems. But it's okay to be emotional. And not, like I said, I'm getting on that.
Yeah, you know, you get my phone calls and text messages. And my meltdowns. So yes.
Right. Yep.
Agree.
So.
All right, ladies, we're going to wrap it up. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to call tonight and join us via the webinar. Definitely let's keep in touch. And if you have benefit from anything that Drea said, definitely reach out to her. And she's such an impactful person. She impacts all our lives in so many ways, and she don't even know it sometimes. So thank you again for joining us tonight. And thank you, Drea, for joining us and dropping your knowledge and wisdom like you always do.
Thank you for having me. I truly appreciate it. I had a good time. And yeah, please like reach out to me. Oh, let me give you my email. Even if it's something like you have a question, like please reach out to me. And if I don't have the answers, like I said, I will definitely point you in the right direction. Like I said, I live in Alabama, but I'm from Boston. I used to live in Providence. I used to live in Chicago. So even if it's in different markets, I still have contacts there. So yeah, please reach out to me. I put my email in the chat thingy.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You guys take care.
Thank you.
Have a
No
good
problem.
night.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.